Monday, February 7th, 2022. I'm trying to think of pertinent details. Linda's watching this show called Billions, Billons. The main character has a two-face for me. But that's not essential equipment details. When I worked at Century 21, I didn't know at first, but one of the charts came out, said that Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and a couple of others were part of this thing called Realology, Realology. I still don't know what that means. Like, it's the study of real. Again, ology is usually the study of. The word log, Log, which is logistics for analysis purposes, is inside of there. It ends with a gamma or a Y, right? Usually I don't like ending on feeling like I'm not sure of something on a question, but here we are. In ni hao, right? Why? So, with Century 21, the office manager's name was Nina Medini. I think she said she was Indian, but she was traditional or authentic. Well, she didn't know how to call herself. I think she said she was traditional, but on traditional for this side. And she sent me on an appointment, asked if I would go for a listing that she couldn't, or she wanted to, whatever, introduce me to some of her, whatever, book of business, I suppose. And she's also the one who referred me to Tom Campagna, who said he was Christy Brinkley's divorce attorney for placement in time and space on Long Island, who also just happened to work in Hapog, right next to the IRS building in Hapog. I think that's right over in the section where I worked for Chase, but on the side of Veterans Memorial Highway. I worked on the side of Islandia. Anyhow, so this woman Nina sent me on this appointment to go meet this family. She said they were an Indian family, or what she would consider Indian, for authenticism of referral. So I went. They were very nice. They're cordial. We'll call it cordial. They did not list their property with me, but we did sit and speak a while. They said they wanted to get to know me. I was fine with that. They said the word Zen, which was interesting because at the time, Alexander had just been born and I was just trying to keep my home and the children in some sense of normalcy without becoming reliant or dependent on or losing the home and having to move them again. But for me, in that moment, Zen, Z would be spelled Z-E-N, as in namaste, as in peaceful garden, almost like a prayer garden or sanctuary. I don't know if they meant it in a Z-E-H-N type of a way to see or balance out where I was at. I had gone to one of the training events that Century 21 they held. They had Steve Harvey, I think, was there. Steve Harvey? No. they had some trainer. It's like each company had their own. Remax had Brian Buffini, and then Steve Morris did his own training at Exit. But for Realology, I think they said that they were Indian based, of some sort, some Indian affiliation, at Century 21. I know Remax was Canada, but they had Colorado, I think, was their interior home headquarters. But I don't know what side of Canada because that never came up. I wasn't a franchise owner, I was just a sales agent. And we're not talking like Linda was watching that show Billions. We're not talking about big real estate development with shell corporations and all of that was not my echelon of real estate, nor my expertise, nor my affiliations. And then Exit was a different side, or was I don't know if it was a different part of Canada, but it was a different company that was also operating in both Canada and the United States, or the lower 48. So, although Exit I think was international as well, because it said Exit International Corporation at one of the meetings. But again, I'm not. That's from what the receiving end of the information was in the takeaway. How it actually operates and functions in other areas, I'm not sure. But that meeting that Nina sent me on, it was very peaceful. Like, it was not temperamental, it was not argumentative, it was not aggressive. It was very zen, Zen, being like if you were to take a walk out spiritually into a garden of different, and you just were walking quietly. That's how the group there, whomever they were, again, some of the words, some of the names, some of the patterns of what they were saying were not common to what I was used to. So it's not something that I could functionally repeat because it was not something like that stayed with me that would be easy to recall. I would need to refer back to something. But that's pretty much how most of the real estate meetings that I went on or I was called into went. They were pretty copacetic. There were very few that were combative and aggressive. There was one, I took Brendan Burns with me. I just had a weird feeling about the man who called upon me. Some of the facts weren't adding up to some of the database records. I was having trouble finding what he was talking about because the information he was giving me was weird. I gave it to Brendan and I said, "Could you just check on this? I'm just having a weird feeling about this." And then we went together, and I'm glad I had Brendan with me because it was like, what the hell did I just step into? And like, really could have been more scary. Thank God I don't know if he was able to diffuse the situation or us going together did, but it was just like, could have been frightening. And then I only had one of those, thank God. And now I'm out completely. And then there was a few that got really aggressive and argumentative on the phone. I stepped away. It's just too much. I don't do argumentative. I do customer service. I'm at your service. Let's figure this out. Let's work this out together. I'm not you yelling and expecting me to like fall in line. Ain't happening. I'm not in the right area, and nobody is that important in this world. And then there was one that I didn't go to the closing on that one, but because I got pulled away by Trish Nash and some event she was speaking at. But there was a couple who asked me to help sell their house, and then they wanted to purchase another house, and then they got really angry, aggressive. Like, she started calling me, harassing me, and yeah, that got really strange. And then that just got shut down. I don't know how. By the grace of God, that got shut down. But that's been the career and meetings of the public for in Long Island that I went to. And I only had one listing in Queens, which was a referral through one of Linda's brothers and sisters, where I have a cousin. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe. Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.